Did y'all know the founder of the 12-tribe chart that most of these Hebrew Israelite camps followed today were made up? Ben Afoti was one of the starting members of Abba Bivens' Hebrew groups. Here is a clip of him admitting that the founder knew that the 12-tribe chart was false.
One time we were over there and they had the charts up, and they had the charts that said if you're Jamaican you come from this tribe, and if you're from Barbados it's that tribe, and boom, 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 boom. And read the book, said, hey, come on, Pop. What is, you know that ain't right. He said, of course, Danny, I know that's not right. He said, but that's the hook. That's how we get them into place, and we wire them up to what's true. Well, you know, years later, after he passed away, and his sons and all of them, they either died or moved away, the Tanakh school began to teach those things as truth. This is the truth, you know. And, well, anyway, when we got cut loose by Chief Counsel, Princess Rivka, and my son and I, we kept Shabbat at home and all the holy days. And I didn't know where Bene Zakkain was, but I wanted to find them because that's where my teacher came from. And we had no roots. We were just floating, you know. I'm like, man, you know, we did the best.
Abba Bivens made up this 12-tribe chart, which is also the founder of One West, also known as the Israel School of Universal Practical Knowledge, which developed most of these Hebrew camps you see today. Abba Bivens' 12-tribe doctrine deceived those who actually want to seek truth. This is just another case of the false prophets serving the masses the bread of yeast. They have no idea that their understanding comes from man and not God's spirit.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Recha HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren, you fellow believers of this faith. Shalom even to you supporters of this ministry. That includes you sisters as well. And shalom to the elect. I want to touch on this video here about the controversial 12 tribes chart, right? It's a controversial thing. Everybody is having an issue with the belief that we believe. And what we must understand is the chart is really an identifier, it is an identification. And through the process of elimination, when you look through, we'll get in the chapter on that. I'll kind of scroll through it. But when you look at it, there's many things that's been taken out and put in, you know, behind religion, right? So we can see that when you go back to Martin Luther, right, of the 1500s, I don't know why people don't talk about this. The Protestants, right? The Protestant canon around the 1500s, which goes to the 16th century. It says Martin Luther argued that many of the received text, that's what it goes to Textus Receptus, right? The received text of the New Testament lacked the authority of the gospel. So you always had men's hands involved in how the word came out. But Proverbs 20 and 24 says man's goings of the Lord. When you read the book of Exodus, it even said written with the finger of the Most High. The Most High always have used men to do certain things, like Moses bringing the tablets, so forth. So you're always going to have men involved with certain things. Some men are going to be wicked, some men are going to be righteous. And even if a man does it unintentionally, it still was of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? I have no idea why people have a problem with the 12 tribes chart in general, when it's in general we talking about the nation of Israel, right? So you have a people in the land today which proven themselves to be the people. Let's go to Genesis 49 before I go on. It says, and Jacob called unto him the sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together. Now, who's going to gather themselves together in the last days? Gather yourselves together and hear, O sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. right? So, which Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So when you look at, in a nutshell, why do people in that land today only one tribe? What's going on with that? Does that make any sense? Let's go to Hosea 1 and 10. It's so much proof and evidence. Why aren't people really coming against that doctrine and people who claim to be the people of God in one location when Deuteronomy 28:64 says, I will scatter you amongst all people? Then the Christians will say, well, it doesn't matter. You can all adopt in to be a Jew and an Israelite. But then when it comes to them, they can't be adopted in. They are the people of God. You see where it goes, the phoniness, how this Eve stands here and she's concerned about the chart instead of concerned about the bigger picture. It says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered, right? And it shall come to pass that in a place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there should be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. So the sands of the sea is a scattering, right? You can't number us. You can number a Negro, you can number a Haitian, but you can't number an Israelite. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together. So why is it that happen? We just read in Genesis 49 that they would gather yourselves together, even as the scriptures say, O nations, with the S not desired, and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel, right? So, of the Israelites. So at the end of the day, through process of elimination, God's people would totally be destroyed. Yahweh's people would be destroyed. He said it was going to happen. When you go to Jeremiah, let's go to Jeremiah real quick, 17 and 4. Even thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever for a time and period. So, if he scattered us in different lands, how do we identify with who we are at that point? Now, some of you might say, well, I'm from Russia, or I'm from China, because you got Israelites there too. We're scattered in all lands, right? But then we'll have to make a chart for the whole world. But at the end of the day, it's 12 tribes. And starting with the 12 tribes, mainly who was scattered in the different locations. We know the tribe of Judah, right, was mainly put here, right? Went to West Africa, Europe, came here. We know in Jamaica, or Jamaica, before the J came about, they was harvesting crops. We understand what was going on when you read the history of the trades that was made, the deals was made with the Indian companies and so forth and so on with sugar, with Columbus and the rest of them, right? 17 and 5. Thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man trusteth in man. So the Christianity we see today have trusted in Martin Luther, an old white man that had 6 slaves. This is what you trust in. Why aren't any videos going up on that? And John Calvin, who burnt people who didn't believe in his doctrine. And then you had these white men who had a split, right? And they had camps. And then they had Jesuits. And they split, burned people, shot people, and killed people. And they're coming to us and saying we're a hate group and we're hurting people. It goes to show you that as long as we say we're an Israelite, it's a problem. Anybody else can say that they're one, and anybody else can say that they could go shoot and kill and destroy people. It's not a problem. That's what it is. I just wanted to touch on that. Genesis 49. Reuben, I believe, Seminole, thou art firstborn by might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defieth thou it, and went up to my couch. You know, at the end of the day, the Israelites sinned against the Lord, and the Lord put hell on the Israelites, right? And gave us and put the curses on us, you know? And this is why the man came in, and even with the Taino Indians, supposedly Columbus, and then what happened is he left his men there, and they started raping all the women. Then he comes back and mad that some of his men are killed, and then he goes back and brings and gets armies and fleets. You mean to tell me this man can go through the waters, conquer the world? They set up the situation so they could conquer the world. They wasn't coming in peace. Let's go to the book of Obadiah real quick. Obadiah. All the men of that confederacy, 1 and 7, have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee, you have deceived thee. The Taino Indians, the Seminole Indians, the Gadites, there was various Native Americans who saw you to be peaceful. Sought to be peaceful, and you deceived it. You broke thousands of treaties. It wasn't just 1,000. Do you know they're still breaking treaties to this day? And it prevailed against thee, that they might eat the bread that they have laid the wound under thee. And there's none understanding in him. You watch that movie Apocalypto, and at the end scene, Rudy Youngbloods, I forgot his name, the woman asked, should we go to them? And he's like, hell no. Turn around. They came with the cross, by the way, to civilize these Jesuits. And they raped, robbed, and conquered the world, and you worried about a chart. So we have to question what these people have done and took the books out of the Bible, right? As the scripture says, don't add and take away. You took in books out of the Bible and then said it wasn't canonized by man. This is what they done. And then we read, cursed be the man, trusted man. You're worried about a chart that has the Judah, and you read the 49 verse, it tells you. It says, shall I not that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau, right? So we go back to Genesis 49. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations, right? And that's a serious situation of all the things. They was into the witchcraft. I believe Haiti and the Dominican, they're like 200 miles apart, something like that. They're very close in nature. But you know what happened? They were conquered as well, and a lot of that was harvesting sugar and crops. It was all big business, but they destroyed us, man. They did a whole manner of wickedness, right? It says, cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, in their wrath, for it was cruel. I will devise them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Judah, thou art whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be as, it says, thy brethren shall praise. Even in wickedness, right? Our people following Judah, the other nations, right? The other nations of Israel are following Judah, right? Anything that's led Judah, Yahweh, right? Judah will lead, and then other people will follow, right? So anyway, thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. The father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion whelp for thy prey, from the prey, my son. Thou art gone up and stooped down, be crouched as a lion, as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? Yeah, he did so much stuff to Jake, man. You know, when you look at just the history on the Americas, right? When you look at the Native Americans, and you look at, all the tribes and what happened, and you through process of elimination, the the northern tribe coming here, which they more likely had mixtures of the other tribes, and they adopted different practices or so forth and so on. And then some of the southern, northern tribe stayed back as well. So you had a mixture, and then we married into the other tribes, just to put it out there. So you would have this kind of personality, and so you would see somebody in the Dominican Republic, he might call himself a Dominican, He could very well be Judah, right? That's why brothers here that might look like Judah can very well be a northern tribe, you know? Ultimately, it's Judah, you know? We all kind of like Judah in a sense. We're all that one big tribe, although there's different nations, right? So Issachar is as strong as crouching down between two burdens. So we can also see that, you know, the Old Testament, the black-only Israelites say they're not Israelites. They don't have nothing to do with Israelites. But they be the ones cooking in the so-called Asian restaurants, right? So they'll say they're the lineage of them. No, where we bordered, we mess with those different type of nations. That's why you'll see some Issachar who would look like damn Chinese. You got the Philippines as well. So the scripture says we were scattered throughout the world. And if you scattered, you would be conquered. Period. This is why you just can't look at somebody and tell. Right? And that's why they have the issue. Jeremiah 30:8. It says, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break the yoke from thy neck and will burst thy bonds, and the strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. So we're going to go to Isaiah 14. So at the end of the day, it's, you know, if you don't want to believe in the chart, man, don't believe in the chart. But there has to be an identification of who we are and where we're mostly found. So that's why if you're from Haiti, you can look at the history, right, and prove, okay, this is where the Haitians are. And let's say it was all made up. Do you know the Lord will use men to do certain things for his will, and you might not even think it's the real deal? You know, there's things that he done that people may have not thought was legitimate. But at the end of the day, the awakening of the Israelites, the chart, and everything else that's happening, it's all the Lord's show anyway. So we got to say, okay, you don't believe in the chart, then these same people don't believe in the Apocrypha, right? These same people don't believe in true Christianity. They believe in modern day slave Christianity. So we can say that is false too, right? Nobody said worship on every Sunday after the sun. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. Remember, the Lord will set us in our own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, Israelites, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And it says, let me go on. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrows. No, let me go on. Which is true. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, who captives they were. When did this happen? And they shall rule over their oppressors. So it says here, the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, meaning all the Israelites, and set them in their own land. This is why they're so messed up, because they thought it was going to work, but they didn't think, wait a minute, that's just one tribe. And the reason why they claim that tribe, because it's the head tribe. You see the trickery? But there's 11 other tribes. Why aren't they joined there? Yeah, right. So now they're trying to get some strangers and Cushites to say they're, I don't know what tribe they're claiming they are. You know, you can't make this up, man. Isaiah 11:11. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again a second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria. Notice this is not on the 12 tribes chart, right? And from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, right? And from Shinar, and from Himoth, and all it, and that this is on the chart, Islands of the Sea, which just represents the different. When you look at Egypt, America is another term of Egypt. So you can say it's actually on the chart because Egypt just means bondage. Exodus 20, it's a Greek word, right? And from Assyria, and basically all, scattered through the four corners of the earth, So anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.